What's up YouTube, Cosmo here with 5 tips on mid-tempo melodic bangers. Today we are going to be looking at my song Streets of Gold. Let's take a little listen to that. Tip number 1, make a macro that controls reverb depth and saturator drive. This is scaled to make the reverb go 100% wet and the drive to go up 9 dB. Check this out. So here it is. It's a good way to wash out a track really easily, and I've got I've got the max reverb time there. Tip number 2, use the harmonic minor scale if you want your song to sound like an epic classical inspired banger. Notice that my song is in D minor. That's the root of the song, but I'm not using the minor 7th. I'm using the major 7th, which is right below the root. In my opinion, this is the most common scale that is not your normal minor or major scale. Tip number 3, experiment with dyads. What that means is a chord with just 2 notes, not 3. Here we have a D minor chord, but I am muting the 5th and flipping the 3rd up an octave. Probably your most common dyad, the 10th, which is another way of saying the 3rd up an octave. But notice I'm not just relying on 10ths. Here I'm going to go to a sus4 chord. So here it's just root and perfect 4th. Over here it's just a sus2 chord. And something to look out for here is that I have a lot of distortion, and that's one of the beauty of dyads. It's less notes than 3, it's only 2 notes, so you can distort your dyads more. So give a listen to that, how the distortion is going to change, for instance, when I get to some of these, this 4th bar, the sus chord, or the 7th bar, the other sus chord. Here's also a perfect 5th. Don't just do root and 3rd, experiment with the other intervals as well. Tip 4 is a simple one. It's a very classic trick. Make your first verse have no drums, and then make your second verse have drums. It's probably the easiest way to create juxtaposition between the 2 verses. Let's hear those. You're not alone. Starts out no drums, and then you hit them with drums the second verse. The other thing that I'm doing there to make my life easier while writing the second verse is I'm starting with the same word breathe, but then I'm changing the other phrase. So I'm actually, a lot of my songs, I don't write as many new lyrics for verse 2, which makes it hopefully a little catchier and also easier to write. Tip number 5, don't be afraid to have an occasional leap in your voice leading. So the rule of smooth voice leading means that you should only go 1 or 2 half steps between chord voices when going to the next chord. So for instance, this is just going up 2 half steps. So the only 2 times in my chord progression that I actually leap with my voice leading is right here and right here. It's not the end of the world though. With between 8 bars, I only have 2 leaps, so that means there's 6 times I don't leap. So just keep your eye on the top note and just keep in mind that an occasional leap might not be that bad. Something that counterbalances the leaps is this moment here where I sit on the same note at the top for over 2 bars. So I think that's something that is so smooth right there, it kind of makes up for these 2 leaps. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Check out my Instagram if you'd like more frequent tutorials. I'll put a link to the song in the description. Peace out, y'all.